If you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
This has been another episode sponsored by Online Horse College. If you haven't had a look at the wide variety of equine-specific accredited courses, then go to onlinehorsecollege.com and I'll see you over there. Today's guest is Renee Holzinger. Renee's a little bit of a mixed bag. She's done vaulting. She was a vaulting specialist coach, but she started off with RDA and became a vaulting rider, a competitor. She competed in Australia in a team and also went to Europe. And she's also worked in a show jumping yard. How are you today, Renee?
Good, thanks.
Good. Renee, your favourite quote. Have you got one for us?
Yes. I think life is about moments. Create them, don't wait for them.
Yeah. Okay, now tell us a bit about, why it's a quote for you. What does it mean for you? When did you first think about this quote? Have you told anyone else? How do you share it?
I think just being in the moment with your horse, or when you're working towards something and then you finally achieve it and you take in that moment, or when you're just generally with your horse and you achieve something, it's a really good moment to take in, and even just working towards those goals. Also, when you're coaching or working with other riders and just seeing them connect with the horse, and, even like really shy children, when they get on the horse, how the horse can help them, and it's just a nice moment to see.
Yep. And sometimes you're right, it's on the way to achieving the goals. It's great to have the goals and wonderful to achieve the goals, but sometimes it's all the tiny little steps, all of those little moments. If you stop and enjoy them, sometimes life can take you in a different direction and you may not aim for that goal, you might aim for another one. But if you've taken the time to enjoy those little moments, then you're going to be a lot happier for it.
Yeah, that's right. And you can always look back on if it does change your direction. Sometimes that happens for a reason. So.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. Renee, tell us about one of your earliest memories with horses. What's your earliest memory or one of your early memories?
I think it was when I was quite young, around 4. We had some horses that lived up the road, and Mum used to take me up to give them carrots and apples over the fence, and just having a rocking horse. And then obviously my parents got me into volunteering at RDA and doing horse riding lessons there. Mm-hmm. And I guess they thought that was a phase, and it never...
I thought you'd grow out of it. Yeah. Tell us about your rocking horse. How old were you there when you got your rocking horse?
Probably about 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously I got one. Apparently I was walking past a shop and there was one in a shop, and I just got on it and wouldn't get off, so they bought that for me.
Yeah.
And I got my first horse when I was 9 on my birthday. I just remember looking out the window and seeing a horse come with a horse float and all the gear, and I had to work pretty hard when I started RDA, volunteering every weekend, and I guess prove myself that this is something I wanted to do, and then finally got a horse.
Yeah.
I'm just feel lucky.
Yeah. What a great thing that your parents said to volunteer at RDA, because you're proving yourself, but you're doing it all for a worthwhile cause as well.
Yeah. It's a really good way of, back then, I guess they work under similar to the British Horse Society or the Pony Club manuals, and RDA have their own training requirements as well, so they're quite strict on safety, and it's a really good, when you start there, you kind of never lose it. You've always got that on-ground skills, I guess, around horses.
Yep, for sure, yeah. Now, going from there, because from RDA you started to do a bit of vaulting, didn't you?
Yeah, so I think I volunteered there when I was about 7 and started lessons there with Gail Sidlick.
Yes, was that at Arundel Park?
Yeah, at a Rundle Park.
Yep.
And she did a lot of lessons on the lunge and without stirrups. So she'd cross the stirrups over the horse's neck, and you have to really develop your feet. She had also neck straps back in the days so you wouldn't balance on the reins, and really learn to really, get your balance and work on your feet right from the start. And they had vaulting there as well, and it was an integrated team. So you worked in with your disabled kids as well.
Yep.
And Gail did the vaulting as well. So she was really great to learn from.
Yeah. Good. And then you went to Europe as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so when I was vaulting in Arundel, I started doing competition.
Yes.
And Darren Frederick came and approached me to train in a team with him up at McIntyre. And we trained for about 2 years, about 3 times a week, and then we had to also train at home.
Yep.
So, yeah, my parents were taking me all the way up. I live on the Gold Coast up to McIntyre.
It's a long way,
so that's about an hour and a half, 3 times a week and after school. And another girlfriend of mine did it with me, so the parents were so great. Now we look back, we've both got kids, so, they did a lot of work driving us up and down there 3 times a week. So. But, it was good doing the training hard for 2 years and then all going over. And
it was a team anyway.
Going over to Europe and then having to get used to the horses over there because, we couldn't afford to take our horses over there. So you have to then train on their horses and do the best you can on the horses you're given over there.
Yeah. Now, for someone to do that before they even start, because vaulting, what sort of skills would they need before they even start? Because there is an age limit, like an upper age limit, isn't there? What's the upper age limit?
As in the age?
Yeah. I thought if you became 21 or I'm not sure what the age was, then you couldn't do vaulting anymore. Is that changed or is that still current?
I think that's changed now.
Okay.
As in competing overseas. Over in Australia, it's open.
Okay.
But I think there was definitely an age limit overseas. Like I think I was under 16 when I was overseas, so I couldn't attend certain events individually.
Okay.
I think you had to be over 16 back in the days.
Yep.
But that's all changed now.
Okay. What sort of skills would you need, though, if you're going to start vaulting?
Well, we have children with all different, like some of them come in obviously with gymnastics background, so they have to learn the harmony with the horse. So they pick it up quite quickly, but then they have to work on their balance and harmony with the horse. And then we get kids that are quite experienced with ponies and pony clubs and horses, but they don't have the core strength and the strength in their shoulders and the spring. Some of them really have to work hard on building their strength to help their vaulting. And some of them also need help with their balance. Even though they've been riding horses at pony clubs, they don't have very good feet because they hold with their legs a lot rather than, swinging with the horse. So sometimes we have to work on that as well. But we also get work with children with disabilities or, anxieties and things like that, which is amazing how the horse can help them as well. So anyone can really do it. We've had adults jump on sometimes just to feel, I guess, on the vaulting horse, their feet and turn around backwards and things I guess you can't do on a saddle without, Yeah.
What do you think's the best thing about being in a team, and being in a team where you're travelling together and competing together and doing things together like that, particularly as a young person, being in a team like that?
Well, I guess, being in a team like that, you just have to learn to work with all the different personalities and, some people have different strengths than others. So as a vaulter, I guess you have to work with, your good strengths, and other people have good flexibility. So I guess it's also being on the horse with 2 or 3 people at the same time. It's quite fun as well. So usually, if you're just horse riding, you're by yourself. So it is completely different when you're on a horse with 3 people. You really have to look after your little flyer too.
Yep.
And be confident to be able to have a good seat or a good stand to hold that flyer. And if you do lose your balance, you want to be able to catch that flyer, not let them go. So it's trust, a lot of trust.
Well, you've got to have trust. You've got to have trust in each other. You've got to have trust in the horse and trust in the lunger as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you went over with Darren, didn't you, Darren? And you said that Gail also taught you. So who else do you think's influenced you? You've got Gail Sibley, Darren.
As horse people, Tristan Lowe's been a really great person to learn from. They have clinics every year in January and bring people over from overseas. And I think because Tristan competed herself, she competed back when I was competing, and she went overseas and learned a lot over there as well. And she's also a lunger and a judge as well. So she can teach you from different angles as well. And I guess because I've got into the lunging and the coaching and I was a vaulting coach, I guess I can relate to her. She's really good to learn from. And from overseas, Frank Badinger, I think his name was. He was Austrian. He was a really great coach, very hard, but really good to learn from. And Joanne Eccles and her dad, John Eccles. There's a lot of different internationals that definitely bring different skills.
Yeah. Just a broader experience probably. And what about horses? Do you think there's been one horse or quite a number of horses that have helped you in your career? Is there one horse in particular that you might have had an attachment with that's really helped you?
I think my first pony, Champ, he was a quarter horse cross Arab. He was really great to learn from. I guess Arabs can be quite flighty, so you learn how to, you have to go with them and they learn to connect with them. And after him, I got he was only 14 hands, so then I got a 16 hand one, and he was Shato. His show name is Mountain Vale Silky, and I did pony club show jumping one day events with him, and he also did vaulting as well. And we did, because he was only quite small, we did pairs on him, but not so much team. I think I connected with him really well because we just did so much together. And he was an Anglo-Arab, so he had quite good endurance and enjoyed doing everything.
Yeah. What do you think your proudest moment's been?
I think when I was coaching at RGA, there was a rider by the name of Sarah, and she was an intellect rider, and she had a really good connection with her little horse and always on the lead, and I got her to start riding independently and doing a bit of trot and even, getting the horse from the stables and leading the horse over and her pulling her stirrups down and just getting quite independent.
Yep.
And her mum came up to me after one lesson and said, how much the being with the horse and getting her independence has made her so confident, and her schoolwork and everything had improved. And the teacher was asking what else she was doing to, was her mum doing more reading and things like that. She said, no, she does do horse riding. And I thought, wow, the basic horse skills, it's amazing how they can bring out confidence in people. And I've seen that through, vaulters as well, being quite timid. And as a vaulter, you have to learn to perform and hold your head up even if you have a mistake, because you don't want the judges, and pull a funny face if you make a mistake. You've got to kind of compose yourself. So I guess the vaulters have to learn to be more confident, and it's great to see them come through once they get the hang of it all.
What do you think for vaulters is the biggest challenge for them to get going, to get going and to keep improving and keep coming up through the levels to be competitive vaulters? What do you think the biggest challenge is?
I think the biggest challenge is for them to actually do their homework. I find, we can set strength programs and, give them certain skills to work on through that week, and it's up to them to do it. And the ones that do it do progress. But the ones that don't necessarily do it, they kind of stay in the same spot. Also, the ones that, get out there and they help get the horse ready and they do all the on-ground stuff, become more confident with the horses, because some of them are obviously gymnasts and they don't have the horse experience, so they just want to get on and do their gymnastic side of things, but you have to connect with the horse. So, I think they just really need to learn how to read a horse and work on the horse on the ground, as well as go home and, keep their strength and their jumping skills and their flexibility, and they all have to work on all those skills as well.
Yeah. I'm thinking about you as a coach. Is that a common fault, or do you think there's something else once they've done their homework? What's the next thing that people have got to work on?
Obviously they have to learn all the horse skills as well. Like some of them don't even know, how to put a bridle on and things like that, or how to put a bandage on a leg. So they have to learn all that, but they also, obviously have to work on themselves and also get their mindset. So when they start getting in the higher levels, they can get a bit anxious and start overthinking a move and trying it too much, and that can turn into a mistake. So they've got to try and get their right mindset as well, and try and control their nerves a little bit, because the horses can sense all that kind of stuff as well. So really work on their fitness, their body awareness and their mindset.
Okay. Yeah, the fitness and the strength. You think, we'll go to bolting and it's a good sport, but you really do have to do your homework, don't you? Because it's quite, I haven't done a very little bit, almost no bolting, but it's quite hard on you. And someone who's naturally a gymnast is already practicing. But as you say, the horse people might come along with some horse knowledge, but not necessarily the same type of strength that a gymnast would have.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when some bolters do have the strength and they've got great moves, but then they crash on the horse a lot. So they've also got to work their moves in with the harmony of the horse and try and use the horse's movement. So some of them go against the horse's movement and try to get up to their big handstands and their big moves, but then they crash down because they're against the horse's movement. So sometimes when you come across ones like that, you've got to really get them to focus on the whole routine, not just the big move.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Wait, can you hear anything? No? That's because we're waiting for someone with a good quality horse product to be advertised here. If that's you, then contact us, horsechats@horsechats.com, and we'll send you the details. Thanks. What about, I'm thinking about the time you spent in the show jumping yard. Where was that? In the UK, did you say?
Yeah, in out of London, I think it was about 40 minutes out of London, called Andover. So there was a show jumping yard, and there was a South African called Angus, and we lived above the stables, me and another South African girl. They had some breeding mares as well, so we'd go out to the paddocks and check on them and work with the vets and farriers, and went out to the shows and took turns. One of us would stay in the stables and do all the on-ground mucking out stables and looking after the horses at home, and the other one would go out to the shows, and then vice versa. But that was a really great experience. And in the UK, they do things so different over here as well. And because it's cold, they're all, stabled, and then they're let out during the day. As over here, you can let them out at night time because it's quite hot. And in winter, they obviously get a big barn ready for the cold season. And it was really great to learn from, and a really good experience just to live above the horse stables.
Yeah. How did you get the job? Did you get it before you went to the UK? Were you already over there and you applied?
I was already over there just travelling. I went up to Scotland Island and just did travelling around Europe, and I think I found it online and went for an interview, and I went down for a trial, and then the lady took me on, and I think I did that for about 6 months. And as
you say, just good experience, isn't it? Just being in something, and you don't have to go overseas for that. It's great that you went overseas, you experienced different climates and things, but just to get in the horse industry and just try different jobs, different jobs that you think, I don't know if that's really for me, or that's not in my career path, but It just gives you a broader experience of the horse industry, and it could be something that you want to go down and pursue, or it could be something that at a stage later you can bring in something that you learn from that particular job, and it could be quite useful, that little bit of information that you got.
Yeah, definitely. Like just the different breeds and stuff as well. Like, and they'd call it a hack out, which to us would be a trail ride. So
yes.
Yeah, just a whole different experience. But yeah, really great to have some hands-on hard work.
Yep, for sure. Now, do you read much, Renee? Have you got a book that you'd like to recommend for our listeners?
Yeah, there's 4 vaulting books. There's one called Equestrian Vaulting by Judah Wilmers.
Yep.
And there's a really good one called Training for Vaulting Coaches by Isabel Bibler and Emma Drinkers. So they're really good vaulting ones. But back in the days when I was starting with horses, it was the British Horse Society and the Pony Club manuals.
Yep.
Yep. That were really, really great basics to start with.
Yes, yeah. And I think, if people see the need for a different book or a different type of book, then I think that's up for them there, really. They could write it. I think there's more books coming out. And they just keep getting revised and getting better and better.
Yeah.
And remember, you can find all the books recommended by our guests at horsechats.com/books. You can have a look at the guest page for the individual book they recommended, or just look at the recommended books by order of popularity at horsechats.com/books. What are you looking forward to at the moment, Renee? What are you with horses? Have you got a horse now? Are you training? Are you teaching? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm coaching with Alice Springs under Mount Tambourine at Wallen.
Yep.
And we've got 2 horses going up there. One of them is doing a bit of canter work, so it's always really hard to bring up a canter horse because they do take a while to find and train.
Yep.
But we have a local competition, Queensland State competition, coming up in July.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just to progress some more vaulters through. And I've got some daughters. My daughter's 4 turning 5, and she's coming out and having a go at it. So I look forward to coaching with her in the future, because I did a lot of coaching with my dad. He was a coach at RDA, and obviously we had a team called Hinterland Rebels in our property when I was younger as well. So it'd be great to have that experience with my children like I did with my dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. What about your philosophy with horses, Renee? Do you want to just summarise that into a couple of sentences?
I think if you can create a peaceful mind and awareness before you kind of get your horse from the paddock, and don't just go rushing around on your day and approach them. Try and set yourself right from the word go, and be mindfulness of your body language and being with your horse. I think you appreciate those moments a bit more when they do come.
Yes.
And I think you really have to work hard on yourself. Like, if you want to be with the horses, you do have to work hard and do a lot of, on-ground work as well. Like, it's not just about the riding and just the vaulting on the horse. You have to do the on-ground skills as well. Mm-hmm. Even just training the horses or lunging. If you can't do that on the ground, it makes it harder when you're on top of the horse.
Yeah.
But just enjoy the moments when you're with your horse on the ground and or riding.
Yeah. All right. Now, Renee, your contact details as well. They'll be on horsechats.com/Renee Holzinger or horsechats.com and search for Renee. But Renee, do you want to give us some contact details just in case people are there ready to jot them down?
You could contact, I've got, on the EA website, or you can contact me on reneeholzinger@yahoo.com.au.
Okay.
Or you can contact us through Alice Springs Vaulting Club.
Okay, wonderful. All right, Renee, thank you very much for that. Really good to talk to you. Good to talk about your different experiences. And I love the fact that you wanted a horse and your parents got you to work and volunteer at the RDA. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah. So hopefully we'll talk to you again sometime soon. And I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Thanks, Glenys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Now, if you're still there, you probably know that I'm absolutely passionate about education within the horse industry. That's why I host this podcast. My other venture is Online Horse College. Have a look now at onlinehorsecollege.com and I'll see you over there.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.